Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express. Now this is a brand new package for Ram. If you follow me here on the channel, you've probably seen my walk around, so you kind of know what this truck already has equipment wise. But we're going to go through, I've had it for a week. I've put about 630 miles on this truck. We're going to talk about my driving impressions of it. We're going to talk about the features on this truck and what to expect from the Ram 2500 Black Express. Now, for those who may not know, the Black Express package is based on the work-level Tradesman or entry-level Tradesman truck. However, you'd be hard-pressed to know that this has anything to do with a work truck looking at its appearance, and that's the point. The Black Express gives you the looks of the Bighorn or Laramie Night Edition packages in a Tradesman wrapper. So, again, I've had so many compliments on this truck this week. People coming up and saying, man, that's a nice-looking truck. And again, they'd be hard-pressed to know until you open up the cabin that it's based on the Tradesman. So let's talk about the looks, first of all. If you look at the front of the truck, obviously you get body-colored grille, body-colored bumpers. You do have standard LED reflector headlights, so reflective headlights. You don't have projectors, but they're reflective. There is no DRL, which is kind of a bummer. But you do have LED fog lights as well. Again, same grille design as the Bighorn Night Edition package, so you get that more sporty look. If you can see here, adaptive cruise control is standard now on all trucks. Because this is a 4x4 model, you do get these massive tow hooks up front, which are nice. One thing that really sets off the truck is the Sport Performance hood. So you can see here, a lot of people think this hood's functional, but it's actually not. It's actually a non-functional grille, which is kind of a bummer. You do get these aggressive looking heat extractors, but these are also not functioning. So yeah, while the hood looks nice, I kind of wish it was some kind of like function to it. I'm sure somebody will figure something out, but nonetheless, it's non-functional, but it does give the truck a very aggressive look. Now with the Black Express package, you do get 20-inch wheels, which look really good in the black. They do come standard with Firestone Transforce AT tires. I'm kind of mixed kind of bag about these tires. I think there's better tires on the market. These, especially in the like actual rain, aren't that great for traction. They're kind of quiet. I mean, that's a good thing. If I bought the truck, that would probably be one of the first things I change out is the Firestones. If we see here, Ram sent me over one with the new Cummins Turbo Diesel. And of course, the Black Express package comes standard with power telescoping mirrors. And if you look here, you have the built-in turn signals as well as a spotlight feature, which is really cool too. The Black Express package also comes with side steps, which is a really nice addition, especially if you have a wife like mine who's kind of short and has a hard time getting into the cab. Now this is where you really notice the difference in the truck, is the interior. Again, looking at the exterior, you might think it's a higher level truck, but once you open up the door, you can see it's basically the Tradesman work truck. So you do not get an upper glove box. You do get a shelf, which is nice because you can put, notepads or your cell phone or a different kind of gear in there. I actually like this idea. It does have a little rubber mat in there that you can take out and wash. Lower glove box, just like the Warlock truck, it does come standard with a bench seat, which is really nice. Nice firm cloth seats with a really nice tooling design that kind of mimics the grille pattern. You do have a center console that when you fold the actual bench seat down, which has a lot of storage. I got my Starbucks coffee in there. It does fold up so you can have 6-passenger configuration. Has a little tray down here that you can actually put things on. And if you look down below, it does have like a little shelf down here to put things. Because it's a Tradesman level 1, you do get a 115-volt outlet there. You do have USB A and C connections down here, as well as an aux. Because it's Tradesman level 1, you do get the 12-inch screen, which is nice. Again, it's big enough. It kind of takes up a lot of real estate. Everybody's kind of used to this because it's been around in the Ram since 2019. It's very smooth, especially with Uconnect 5 software. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto that's wireless. It does have standard navigation, which is also another benefit over what the 1500 model offers. So again, even though you might be getting more of a base model truck, you're not missing out on technology by any means. You do have a power rear slider up here, sunglass holder up here as well. And again, you can tell that you're saving money on the materials. Now, I will say that the door panels themselves are very cheap feeling, especially compared to the 1500. But I don't know. This is probably the biggest fault of the truck is the door panels. I figured they'd be a little bit nicer, but this is like straight up like snowplow truck kind of quality. There is no brushed nickel plating like in the 1500. So that's kind of a letdown, but still doable. It's not a deal breaker in my book. Again, same door panels in the back. One thing you'll notice is in the cab, it's still running the 4th generation cab. So here, you don't get pockets on the back of the seats like you do in the 1500, but you do get a bench seat. However, because it's the older cab, it doesn't have a flat floor. You can see by the size of my palm, there is a transmission tunnel here. You do have cup holders down here. However, there's no pull-down cup holders, so if you have a third person in the back, it's going to be hard to put drinks back here. That's the only problem. And the seats got this indentation in here, so the person who sits in the middle actually doesn't have as much cushion. But again, when you actually look at the price of this truck, which is $73,000, you might think, man, $73,000 for kind of a tradesman level truck, you're not getting a whole lot of content. You are. Like, again, power telescoping mirrors. You do get the 12-inch screen with navigation. Of course, this is Apple CarPlay here. I actually like this setup better, but if you have an Apple phone or an Android phone, you even get more features. The stereo system, while it might be the base, it actually sounds better than the 1500 does, the base model 1500 stereo. I will say it has a little deeper range for bass in that, which is actually really nice. I'm not disappointed in this stereo at all compared to how I was in the Ram 1500 entry-level trucks. So yeah, it doesn't have the Alpine system, it doesn't have the Harman Kardon system, it doesn't have the Klipsch system, but it still sounds nice. And again, for $73,000, this truck does have the digital tow mirror, which is nice as well. It's just the door panels and stuff that kind of set this truck back. So again, I feel like you're getting a lot of equipment for this, for what you're paying, considering that the Cummins is $12,595 of that. But ultimately, I think if you're really looking for a truck under 80 grand with a Cummins power plant, you can't go wrong with this. And again, I'm sure the aftermarket will come up with some stuff to dress up the door panels, or somebody will figure something out. It's just, out of all the things in the truck, this is the biggest downfall of this package, is just the cheap door panels. Now, if we walk around to the back of the truck, again, you're getting the night edition package kind of looks. You can see here that the tailgate handle has an LED lights down here for the license plate. However, the difference between like a Bighorn Night Edition and the Laramie is you would get LEDs. This one has standard halogen lights. They don't look bad. They're blackened a little bit, so they have that dark look to them. Not a bad thing, but it's just, you know, it's kind of a bummer that you get halogen lights standard, considering in today's market most trucks have LEDs. This truck does have the bed utility group, so you can see that there's a Mopar step down here. However, because this was an early press truck, it does not have the spray and bed liner, because they actually built this in Mexico and rushed it up here. So this is one of the first three Black Express trucks that were built for Ram. So again, as a press truck, sometimes they want to rush them out to the actual media like us. So we get stuff kind of handed to us that's kind of pre-production. So let's talk about this truck's biggest downfall. And that is the fact that it's still based on the 4th generation Ram. Unfortunately, this truck has been the same since 2010. Same cab configuration and all that. Now, Ram has updated it quite a bit since 2010 with new looks, new updated suspension, updated electrical architecture, newer dash, all that stuff. But the 4th generation truck still lingers in this. If we go to the interior, this is where the biggest disappointment of this truck is. And it's not like a deal breaker by any means, but you're kind of losing out on a lot of things that the Ram 1500 DT trucks have, the 5th generation, the true 5th generation trucks. The first thing is that, yes, it does have the 5th generation upper dash panel, which is nice. However, if you look at the seats, they are still from the 4th generation trucks. The 5th generation truck cab is actually wider, has better seats that are more comfortable. A different center console. This one actually has 3 cup holders, which is nice. Does have a lot of storage in it, as you can see here. But one thing that you're losing out on is, compared to the 5th gen trucks, the actual bench seat has storage underneath. The lower part of the dash is also different. So in the 5th gen trucks, because there's a transmission tunnel in this truck, unfortunately you don't get like the storage bin, so you lose a lot of storage in this thing. The other weird thing about this truck is, considering that you're paying, you know, around mid-50s, this truck here stickers for $73,000. It's got a nice fabric headliner and all that, but they have vinyl sun visors. I don't understand that. It's one of the things that kind of makes the truck feel cheap. But again, with the 4th generation cab, you can see here, it's just the door panels and stuff. Compared to the 5th gen door, like actual door panels, they feel so much better. It's such better high quality like plastics. This is just cheap. This is where this truck falls short compared to the 5th gen trucks. That and passenger comfort. So if we actually look in the back of this truck here, again, you have a transmission tunnel. You're losing space for the middle person because the bench in the actual 5th gen trucks goes all the way across. You don't have a full down armrest. I mean, you're just losing out on a lot of comfort, and that I think, you know, is missed out on this truck. You look at the competition over the past couple of years. Ford has gotten a new cab. GM's actually working on another new truck. They haven't had a new truck since 2018, but this is the oldest configuration of a heavy duty on the market if you compare it to GM and Ford. So again, this truck's been out since 2010. I think it's just time. The age is starting to catch up with it. Is it a bad truck? No. Drives great. The thing is size. The size of the cab, the actual size of the truck, it's smaller than the rest of the heavy duties. The trucks have grown over the years, but this has kind of stayed the same. So again, you're getting a little bit more easier use of the truck because you can put it in different spots that other heavy duties can't because of its size, but you're losing out on the ultimate comfort that the other trucks have. So like, for example, even though it's got a new electrical architecture for 2025 and 2026, the only thing that really is a disappointment is, compared to the other manufacturers, and well, I will say GM is short on this too, but they're actually, if you look at spy photos of their newer trucks, you'll know that it's coming. You can't get a panoramic sunroof at all. So you get the standard little front front overseat sunroof, the conventional sunroof that we're so used to. And you don't get a HUD, a heads-up display like the Ram 1500. So you're missing out on some technology. You're missing out on comfort that simply that the Ram 1500 gets, but the Ram 2500 doesn't. And what I'm really impressed with is the NVH in this cab. Considering that this cab is as old as it is, it's been on the heavy duty since 2010. Ram engineers know what to do, because with this new Cummins, yeah, it's quieter, but it's amazing because I can hear more of the traffic next to me than I can the actual Cummins, and I hear more wind buffering on the windshield than the Cummins itself too. So you would be hard-pressed to not to know that you're driving either a gas-powered model or a diesel. That's how quiet the cabin is on this thing. So underneath the hood is the new 6.7-liter turbo diesel from Cummins. Inline-6 configuration, 430 horsepower, 1,075 pound-feet of torque. And look how smooth this thing is. Absolutely smooth. It's crazy how balanced that Inline-6 is. Very interesting thing is with this new Powerline 8-speed automatic transmission, it is so smooth. It totally transforms highway driving with the Cummins. Honestly, I've been really impressed with how smooth, and you can barely tell the shifts when you're not under load. But like, just driving in day-to-day traffic, it has made the Cummins not just faster to get up and go and merge into traffic and stuff, but honestly, it just makes it so you're not constantly searching for gears. The 6-speeds always seemed like they were kind of searching for gears a little bit, like kind of hunting up and down, especially when you're like in stop and go traffic. These are so smooth, you don't even really notice anything. Like right now, I'm coming up to we're coming up from 75 miles an hour to about, what, 30 miles an hour? I can't feel it downshift or anything. That's how smooth this transmission is. It's amazing. So I think out of all the highlights of this truck, I think the Powerline 8-speed outweighs the new Cummins. And that's just my opinion. I think ZF transmissions are fabulous. I've absolutely loved everything that they have done with 8 speeds. And this Powerline transmission just is top notch for this application. Now this Cummins Turbo Diesel is pretty quiet, but when you do go through a drive-through, it is a little loud. So we can see right here, we're coming up to Starbucks. I'm gonna roll my window down.
Thank you for choosing Starbucks. How can I help you?
Yeah, I got an order for Robert.
A mobile order for Robert?
Yep.
Let me check on that for you. Just 1 second. Alrighty, you can come on up.
Thanks. So you still have to talk a little bit louder just because the Cummins is still kind of loud. It's quiet in the cabin. When the windows are up, this truck is like really quiet. You'd be hard pressed to know that it's a diesel. It sounds just as loud as a Hemi truck, believe it or not. And with today only being 42 degrees out, it's actually a little louder because it's still warming up. But nonetheless, it's not that bad. It's very livable in this truck. As you can see, this one is equipped with the optional rear digital camera for towing, which is really nice. You can see it looks like a camera angle from behind there. You can flip it back and you got a standard mirror. I absolutely love that feature. It gives you a nice wide angle behind the truck. On top of that, with the 12-inch Uconnect 5 screen, if like right now I'm using wireless CarPlay, and this is iOS 26, the latest update, I can actually, well, let's put it this way. I actually like using the CarPlay Google Maps better than the actual navigation that comes with this. You can see it's a little slow this morning, but nonetheless, I like it a lot better. I mean, if you go to the CarPlay, the one cool thing is you can set it up on your phone and you can do multiple stops like I am. Like I'm stopping at Starbucks right now, and then I have a whole agenda routed out for the day. Not only that, but you know, it tells you your navigation here, but it does come up in the TFT screen. So as I'm moving, it will actually tell me directions, even though the TFT screen is the smallest one, you know, compared to like the 7-inch one. This is like the 3.5. And the full digital cluster in the higher end trucks, it still comes up in the TFT screen. Now I will say, even though the cab is, you know, old, considering it's 16 years old, it's still a comfortable place to actually spend some time. I've actually put on about 600 miles on this truck. And again, I feel like it's still a very comfortable truck. It's just not as comfortable as the actual true 5th gen half tons. If they actually could convert this cab somehow into a 5th gen cab, it would be absolutely a game changer. You would have a little bit more room. The seats would be a little more comfortable. These seats are pretty firm, but they are comfortable compared to some vehicles that I've spent time with recently. But overall, I'm really impressed with how this truck drives. Considering it's a 3/4 ton and how balanced and smooth it is, you'd be hard pressed to know that you're not driving an actual car. Steering is kind of firm. I like that. I like when there's a lot of feedback in the steering. This one definitely has it. Even though it has 20-inch wheels, it does bounce a little bit because, you know, you're driving a 3/4 ton truck. But overall, it's pretty smooth. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference between a half-ton truck 10 years ago and this thing. So again, while it might not be the fully loaded $100,000 ranch truck that most people, you know, see in dealerships now and today, I would honestly say if it was me and how I use trucks as trucks, this is a perfect package. $73,000, Cummins Turbo Diesel, 8-speed Powerline transmission. You get the looks of the Laramie and Bighorn Night Edition trucks. And again, I've had tons of people come up to me and say, wow, you know, that truck looks really sharp, especially in this destroyer gray color, or as Ram calls it, ceramic gray. But nonetheless, 31-gallon fuel tank, 342 rear end gear, and overall the Cummins on this thing only has 1,600 miles, so it's just getting broke in. I mean, I achieved 22 on the highway last night, 22 miles per gallon. And then in the city, driving around the whole week, I got anywhere from like 14 and a half to about 16. It just depends on, you know, how you're driving it. But I don't think that's bad numbers considering how big this truck is, one. And two, it's not even really broke in yet. So I can only imagine in another couple thousand miles how much better the fuel economy would be. So, but overall impressions, Black Express package is probably one of my favorite packages in all of the Ram lineup. And it doesn't matter if I'm talking about the Ram 2500. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, a 1500 truck or whatever. I really like this package in the 3/4 ton. I think they've done a really good job for 2026. And again, I think that if you're really looking at a 3/4 ton pickup, especially this year, you need to really consider this package if you're not wanting to spend huge bucks, but you want the styling and the looks of a night edition truck. One thing that I absolutely love with the new Ram Heavy Duties is since 2023, they introduced these new telescoping mirrors compared to the moose ears that used to fold up and fold out. These ones have massive convex lenses, which are really nice. These are power on this truck. You have this massive glass here, and on top of it, you do have the option of activating spotlights. So you have a front spotlight that you can light up to see out in front of you. And then you also have back-mounted spotlights, which you can see light up the whole side of the truck and a trailer, which is really cool at night. These ones are power, so you can see they fold in and again fold out. But it's a really nice option to have in the heavy duty, because now with merging and all that, it makes it so much easier. These also have power telescoping abilities. So basically we can press this button here and we can actually put them out. So if you have a trailer, they actually go out. So no more getting out and have to pull your mirror up in that. It's just a nice option to have. Now these ones don't have the 360 cameras built into them, but still, it's still a nice option where you can take and light up the area outside or light down your trailer when you're actually in a dark spot at night. What I find really funny about this truck is on the TFT screen, the little 3.5-inch TFT screen, if you leave your lights on, it's actually the Ram 1500, the DT 5th gen truck. But overall, the truck looks good. I'm really impressed with the overall looks of this thing. I think it has a lot of street presence. I would have to say, ultimately, if it's me spending the money on a Cummins, I would really consider this package, even more so than the Bighorn package. I don't think you're gaining a lot by getting the Bighorn model, but I absolutely love this package overall. I think it's very smooth driving. Again, the 8-speed is such a game changer in this truck. But overall, I'm very impressed with how the Black Express package is. It's just got a couple of small downfalls. And again, I think that the cab on the heavy duties are aging a little bit. But other than that, I'm really impressed that Ram can continue to build this thing and make it as smooth and as balanced and as actually comfortable as possible.